Hello and welcome to Your Average Bear Gaming. I'm George, and today we're going to do a little bit of an overview of the Imperial Bastion Platoon. Yeah, it's an old kit. It was a Christmas box that came out last year, in 2020, but I just finished them all, and I had a few things to say about them. Interested? I kind of hope so. Otherwise, this video is going to be super boring for you. Let's check it out. Alright, so I finished the kit, and this is where I keep all of my completed models. And it struck me that this was a lot fewer models than I expected. I mean, I knew exactly what was in the box when I ordered it, but I don't know. It just struck me as smaller. I don't know. I thought it would be bigger somehow. Let's just take a quick look at the contents. Talk about some good news and some bad news. Here it is. This is the entire Imperial Bastion Platoon. And I'm super excited. I finished the last kit in this model very recently. It was these guys. This was the last one. It was the Command Platoon. And I'd never done one of those holiday boxes before. I got my first one this last December, and I was pretty excited. In fact, I had never done an Imperial Guard army before, and it's pretty neat. I am really satisfied with its experience overall. It didn't even take me that long. I mean, it was basically a week per kit. That's kind of how I roll out my videos. And so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 kits essentially in that box, and it took me, I want to say, more or less a week apiece. But some of these models, like the vehicles, there was a magnetization, so that probably took me an extra week. These are kind of approximate figures, so let's just call it 10 weeks of Warhammer 40k goodness in that Bastion Platoon. I paid what, maybe $250? I don't remember anymore. That pain is long gone. All I have now is the memories I had, building, painting, magnetizing, publishing videos to the interwebs. I mean, it was a great bargain in terms of just hobby hours per dollar. It's a pretty good deal. And it's probably a really good way of getting into a new army that you don't already have. The value in these isn't that you're going to get cool new kits. These tend to be kits that are already existing. Maybe Games Workshop already has them in a warehouse somewhere and they're collecting dust and they want to move them out the door. I mean, it's probably not like that, but it's probably also not entirely unlike something like that. They have to have a sense for what models are going to, be out the door. They're going to sell slowly versus what they're going to sell quickly, and so they bundle these boxes, at a discount, so that they help you get models that you wouldn't necessarily have bought before. It also helps them turn over some inventory that they wouldn't have sold either. It's kind of a win-win. And it quickly gets you into a new army. It gets your feet wet. At this point, you have your painting scheme kind of figured out. You've had some experience with the kind of the weirdness of the model kits for each of these factions. These are very different from the Space Marines in terms of building and painting and all that kind of good stuff. Honestly, compared to my Space Marines, I enjoyed building and painting these a lot more than I did the Space Marines. But this is obviously not a complete 2,000 point army. This is a good way of starting off. And it is maybe the core of your army. If you decide, what, this is cool, I do want to build out a full army, this is a good way of deciding whether or not you want to do that, whether it's worth the extra expense, whether it's worth the extra time. And quite frankly, for me, one of the things that is important is it worth the price in storage? Each of these is pretty pricey. Like each level of these is probably about the price of like a full model kit. I think it's something like, I don't know, $30, $40 for a thing like this. To store an entire army, like you saw, you're probably looking at about a little under $200. So each new kit that you add to your collection, it's not just the price of the kit, you know, plus the magnets and the paint and all that kind of good stuff. It's also how are you going to store it, because you want to store these. You don't want to just leave them to the elements, let your cat chew them up, let your dog pee on them, that kind of thing. You want to take care of them. It took you hours and hours and hours to create this marvelous thing. I mean, okay, marvelous if you're a nerd like us, right? If you're not a nerd and you don't think this is marvelous, there's a really good chance you're not watching this video, so I'm not talking about you. I'm talking to those of you, those special few who know and love this hobby. You've made an investment, not the kind of investment that is an increase in value over time. That's not what I mean. But you've sunk a lot of money and time and effort and blood and sweat and tears and all that kind of good stuff into your army. You want to take care of it. And so that's where those cases come in. So there's a lot of things to consider about whether or not you want to buy a new army, one of these new starter kits. One of the reasons I think this is still an important factor is because, well, the holidays are right across the holidays are right around the corner. It is currently the end of September as I record this. You probably won't be seeing this until sometime in October. So Games Workshop is probably going to make an announcement really soon about the next Christmas boxes. I assume this happens once a year, and so once again, Games Workshop is going to put out that little crack rock to tempt you into spending another $200 on some plastic models that you may or may not love. So you have to think to yourself, is this a worthwhile purchase? The actual answer is very personal, and it depends on where you are, what your finances are like, what your goals are in the hobby, all these things. But if you have the money and you're looking to get a nice little, get your feet wet into a new army that you haven't built, or maybe just kind of beef up an existing army. Like Imperial Guard is one of those famous horde armies. You're going to need a ton of Imperial Guard troopers, a ton of tanks, just to make up this 2,000 points. It's a good way of supplementing the models that you already have. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I am super glad I bought these. I am super glad I made them. I just could not be happier. This particular kit, as you saw earlier, I can fit all of these into just one half of the case tower that I've assembled. That's a Crystal Fortress. In case you're curious, you may have a different storage solution than I do, and that's fine. Your mileage may vary. What that means is I can probably fit a second Christmas box collection into that same case, and that's exactly what I aim to do. I don't aim to misbehave. I aim to paint. My next kit is going to be the Tau Star Pulse Cadre. It should be about the same, only with 100% more mechs. Oh, wait, is this a mech? Okay, maybe not 100% more mechs. Some proportion more mechs. I'm looking forward to that. I can't wait to show you. I hope you join me in that journey. Thank you very much for watching. Be nice to yourselves and each other. Peace.